All right, so we wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of where you can find some resources that we have available on our website. The first thing is this red bar all the way across the screen that you see here. This would be where you go to find any updates related to COVID-19 guidelines. We haven't had any in a while just because there haven't really been any changes to how we are able to meet safely. The whole state is pretty much in the red in that high alert level. But this would be where you go to find any updates. I'll take you back to our main page here. The first place I usually direct people to go is the volunteer tab. There's lots of great information here. The first one being the Troop Leader Blueprint. So if you click on this, this is a really great resource from GSUSA, and you can select a level that applies to your troop. Even if it's a multi-level troop, you have that option. So you can click on any of those to find more. Daisies. So there are different meetings that you can use. So it'll kind of walk you through some adaptations that you can use these virtually or in person when it's safe to do so. So like this one, there might be a video intro, and then it actually takes you through certain badges. So there might be a video that goes along with it, and then it'll give you like an agenda. It'll also direct you to the volunteer toolkit, which is another great resource for troop leaders to help you plan meetings. So there's already a whole bunch on there. There's different petals for the daisies. Think like an engineer. So they try to do a variety of topics. All right, so that volunteer tab. The next one down is online support for volunteers. And that's another great place to go. This will give you some good tips about using the volunteer toolkit, like how to get a year plan set up if you don't have that already for your troop. Very short video that'll walk you through that. It also talks about GS Zoom, which is an awesome partnership that GSUSA formed with Zoom so that current Girl Scout volunteers can have access to large meetings with no time limits until July of next year. I think that's a typo there. So basically just fill out the form and pay the fee and you have access to that. So you don't have to worry about time limits or anything for when you're doing troop meetings. There's some information about individually registered Girl Scouts if anyone is interested in that. So those are kind of the main things there. And yes, thank you, Leslie. Definitely feel free to put any questions in the chat. The adult learning and training section under the volunteer tab is another great place. I usually direct our new troop leaders here because it has so much information all in one place. There's information about GS Learn, which is that online volunteer training platform that we've put into use. You can access that through your MyGS account. Here's another way to get to the Troop Leader Blueprint. We're not really doing in-person training right now just because of everything that's happening. We do have all sorts of training on GS Learn, and we do add things every once in a while. So feel free to go back and check out what's new. And the Successful Leader Learning Series is always available to you there, which is helpful for not only new leaders, but also experienced leaders. This orientation to Girl Scouting might be helpful to you, especially if you're a newer leader. Another plug for GS Zoom. And then we also have some tips for holding a virtual troop meeting. Some things that we've put together as well as some things from GSUSA. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely feel free to go in and check that out. We have some basic FAQs on things like background checks. And then occasionally we have these check-in webinars. So we will definitely post this recording. I apologize for not starting it right from the very beginning, but we will definitely post that here as well as on GS Learn so that you can go back and watch that and you can direct those who weren't able to make it there so that they can see it as well. The other thing I wanted to make sure that everyone knew where to find is the COVID-19 troop meeting guidelines. So that would be under this adult learning and training page. It's the same page. I just wanted to refresh it. This big link right here, COVID-19 troop meeting guidelines, right above this video underneath all of these tabs. That is what you're going to want to click on to get to the troop meeting guidelines. We haven't updated these very recently just because we haven't had a whole lot to update. We're all still in very high alerts pretty much all across the state. So there hasn't really been much of a need to update that, but we do periodically look over that and look over guidance from GSUSA, CDC, local government, all of that. So anytime this has changed, we will put the updated version on our website, and we will update the link on this adult learning and training page, as well as under that red COVID-19 banner on the main page. Okay, so that's where to find a bunch of resources. Again, there's even more tabs here that you can flip through. I know you're all very capable of going to the website and flipping through what's interesting to you. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that it's okay to have troop meetings where girls just have a time to be girls and enjoy each other's company. I don't want troop leaders to feel pressured like they have to have a super planned out troop meeting where they earn all the badges they can. Girls really need the time to connect with their peers now more than ever. So it's totally fine to just have a really laid back virtual troop meeting where your girls can just talk to each other and not have to try to worry about earning requirements or anything like that. Those are great meetings too. Just don't feel like all of them have to be for the purpose of getting an activity done. And some leaders we've talked to recently have been having virtual troop meetings, and it's just a time to share what they've been working on. So maybe they've been giving suggestions for activities or badges that they can work on at home with their families, and then they come together and talk about what they learned. So that's one thing to consider. All right, so I'm still sharing my screen. I'm going to show you one more place to go as far as kind of resources, I guess. If you go to the activities tab, you can either click on event list or calendar to see what events we have coming up. So they provide the same information. The event list is just in a list. So all of the things that are coming up just pop up in a list. And if you go to calendar, you can see it in calendar form, but all of the same activities are there. So for example, tomorrow night we have a Brighten Your Holiday with Circuits event where girls get to make a light up holiday card. So we're constantly adding new events. Definitely feel free to check there for any updates. Our program team is working hard to put together more virtual programs on a variety of topics. So we will update that here. All right, now I'm going to pass it over to Rainey so that she can share some cookie information with us.
Thanks, Christiana. Hi, everyone. My name is Rainey. Christiana introduced me earlier. I'm the new product program manager at Girl Scouts of Alaska, and I'll be your go-to for any cookie questions that you have coming up this season. Girl Scout cookie season officially kicks off on January 8th this year. We're having a January 6th virtual cookie rally that you can find information about under the event list that Christiana just pointed out to us on the website. And for those of you who haven't participated in the cookie program before, I mean, who's not familiar with Girl Scout cookies? They're everywhere, but there's a lot of action behind the scenes. And it can be a little bit intimidating probably as a first time cookie season volunteer. So I just wanted to kind of break down sort of the 4 parts of cookie season for everybody. And then we're going to share my screen too. And I'm going to show you where you can find some really helpful resources on our webpage. So cookie season can really be broken down into 4 different little chunks. The first one we're in right now, and that would be training and troop setup. We have all of your training materials available online. There are videos, handouts, documents, anything that you need there to make sure to get you up and running and ready to put in your order. The second phase would be the initial order taking, and that is from January 8th to January 24th this year. And that is exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be your girls taking orders through Digital Cookie, also on paper cards, and through any other creative way that they get this season with the, strangest times going on. Then we have a little bit of a break. And the third phase is going to be cookie delivery and classically booth sales, and that's going to be from February 26th to March 28th. You're going to want to keep your eye out for updates from me about booth sales this year. We're still trying to figure out exactly what that's going to look like. You can understand that some of the big businesses like Fred Meyer's, Cars, place like that, they're waiting just a little bit longer before we firm up a schedule for booths in their stores this year. But that's the really exciting and fun part. And then the last phase of cookie season is wrap up and rewards. And that's going to be from March 29th to around May 15th, give or take a little bit. And that will be when we're doing all of the reporting about funds earned, when we're collecting information about the rewards that the girls earned. And then most exciting of all, when we're helping to distribute and dole out those rewards that the girls earned. This year, our mascot is Hope the horse. So everything is horse themed and it's really very adorable. So I'm sure that the girls will be really excited about the rewards. I'm going to see if I can just go ahead and share my screen really quickly here. There we go. All right, can you see my screen? Wonderful. So this is us back at the Girl Scouts of Alaska website, and this is what it would look like if we had just gotten here. Come on, internet. We're just going to go over to the cookies section here, and in the drop-down menu, we have for cookie sellers, for cookie volunteers, and cookie updates. Cookie updates is new to the website this year, and this is kind of going to be a one-stop shop for announcements and things like that. So you can come here to just kind of get an at-a-glance view of things that have recently been announced, upcoming dates, things like that. Lots of good information here. Lots of opportunities to click links and get into other exciting things too. And then the most important part of the cookies portion of the website for you all is going to be this for cookie volunteers section right here. And so just to review, to get here, we hover on cookies and come down to for cookie volunteers. And as we come over here, you'll see all of this information that we have, and volunteer resources is the one that I want to make sure everybody's really familiar with. In here, you have everything that you need to make sure that you and your troop have a successful cookie season. I would suggest starting with the troop service unit, troop/service unit cookie manager manual and training video here, and go from there to dig and get more information about more specific topics for questions that come up while you're going through here. And then outside of the website, I am also available as a resource for all of our lovely volunteers and girls. So don't hesitate to get in touch with email or phone if you need to. I'll pop my email into the chat log when I'm done talking here in a minute. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to Christiana.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rainey.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is pretty much all that we have to share with you. We just wanted to make sure that you are aware of some of the resources that we have available on our website, and to give you a little bit of an overview of what the cookie season will look like this year, and where to find that information on our website. So now I would like to open it up to any questions that you have. We would love to do our best to answer any questions that you have. And if we don't have the answer right away, we'd be happy to find it out and follow up with you tomorrow. So if you're able to raise your hand or maybe pop a question in the chat, we can unmute you, or we can just read your question from the chat and answer it, whatever you are most comfortable with.
while we wait for some questions to pop up or someone to raise their hand, I do want to thank Rainey for really jumping in, starting the job in the middle. Well, it's not quite middle of cookie season, but at the cusp of cookie season. Kelsey, as all of you know, had a job opportunity to work with her family, and so she went off to do that, and she really teed it up for Rainey to take over, but it's still been a daunting task. So Rainey's been doing a great job.
Thanks, Leslie. I am definitely feeling like Kelsey left me set up for success. So
No question.
Well, I'm not seeing any hands or any questions in the chat. I don't want to jump off right away just in case someone is still working on questions. Oh, we do have, Amanda has a good suggestion. Rainey, can you talk about the cookie rally and the mailed packets that will be going out?
yeah, absolutely. So as I briefly mentioned, we have a virtual cookie rally happening on January 6th. And we would ask that you register for that event. And what the cookie rally is it's a chance for us just to really get the girls excited about the upcoming cookie season. This year, we have some fun things planned. We're going to hear from some fellow female entrepreneurs and get some tips and tricks from them. We're going to meet our mascot, Hope the horse, and we're also going to be making a horseshoe goal tracker. So we can talk to the girls a little bit about setting goals and how to follow through with them. It's meant to be a tangible thing that they can keep with them throughout cookie season to remind them to keep their eye on the prize. And the packets that are going out, I conveniently have about 200 of them here next to me. Those are going to contain a booklet with some information about cookie season that will hopefully get the girls really excited. There's an emphasis on the 5 skills for girls in here. So lots of activities revolving around goal setting, decision making, money management, people skills, and business ethics. And this packet includes that activity that I previously mentioned, as well as a little wooden horseshoe so they can make their own. And then this year, we also decided to mail out our cookie order forms and our permission forms. So every currently registered Girl Scout is going to get one of these packets in the mail. And there's a brief list of instructions in there letting you know what to do with all the supplies you receive, how to handle the permission slip, so on and so forth. But we are currently working around the clock getting those envelopes stuffed, and some of them are already in the mail. So they will be making their way into your homes just as soon as possible, and definitely in time for the cookie rally on the 6th. So make sure you sign up and register for that. It should be a really great time.
You have a question here from Linda. It said, are the packets in addition to the materials that they received for the service unit?
Yes, Linda, they're in addition. So we understand that if you've already distributed those, some girls might receive duplicates, and that's totally fine. We're just really trying to go above and beyond and make sure that getting these supplies to the girls is as easy as possible this year. We understand parents have a lot of balls in the air.
And Lori kind of had a follow-up. Are they going to girls or leaders?
These are going straight to the girls, Lori.
Linda also submitted a question. Thank you for pointing that out, Linda. It's a good question. She says she's also service unit manager, and she'd like to know if she can manage cookie sales through the service unit account for girls whose troops are not active right now. I fully expect we will reactivate troops by the spring, but not before the cookie sale. I have a few volunteers, but not enough for every troop. I think that would be, my guess is that girls whose troops aren't active or aren't participating in the cookie program, they would have the option to participate as individuals.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Christiana. So if girls would like to participate in cookie season, but their troops are taking a break for the time being, that's absolutely fine. And we actually expect that we'll have quite a few girls participating that way this season. They can absolutely sign up to participate as independently registered girls and then join back up with their troop again when they're active later in the spring.
Awesome. And I'm going to allow Linda to talk really quick. She raised her hand.
We can answer her question completely. So
yeah, I want to make sure that we answered it completely. So
yeah,
you should be able to unmute now, Linda.
Thank you. And actually, I might have too many questions, and maybe I could talk to someone later. But I do, I wonder what happens to the funds that are earned by the individual girls. Will the troops be able to access those funds once they're active again?
That's a great question, and I think I might need to follow up with somebody who's a little bit more versed in cookie procedure than I am right now, Linda,
Okay.
to make sure that I get you the correct information instead of just taking a stab at it right now.
Okay. This probably isn't unique, but in Petersburg, some of our troop leaders have kind of bailed on the whole virtual thing, and some of them have stepped down. And so I have some troops that that I think will pick up again with current leaders once in-person meetings are allowed. I have other troops who need new leaders, and I haven't even started recruiting for new leaders because there just doesn't seem to be any point right now. In the meantime, I have parents reaching out to me who want to work with, who want to help their daughters participate in the cookie program. They're officially registered, in a troop, but I don't have a troop leader for them to work with. So I know we did this with one girl last year where I worked with her mom to support her daughter, and then the cookie funds went into her troop's bank account because it was a brand new bank account. And I'm hoping that I can do something like that to support the troops that are going to eventually pick back up again.
Let us
There's
do
just a whole
follow-
lot going on and not going on. We don't even have, we have some kindergarten girls registered. I know that you have reasons you can't share that information with me, but it ties my hands. I can't reach out to the parents unless they reach out to me first. And so, that there may or may not be girls out there registered that I don't even know about. So I imagine the mailing will help with that, but it would be really nice if you somehow included me in that, let them know that they can contact me as a service unit manager so I can support them.
Those are all good points, Linda. Actually, we definitely would like to follow up with you on the troop leader stuff and organizing your girls for the cookie, because I do think, especially in a small community like yours, where it's a little different than, a big Anchorage community,
Yeah.
we could figure out how to work out with you. So how about Rainey or Christiana or both? We'll follow up with you tomorrow for a time that works best for you to just kind of talk through things. Does that work?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for your questions, Linda. That was great.
Thanks, Lori. Lori's signing off, so I was just saying thanks.
All right, if there are any other questions, definitely feel free to either type them in the chat, or if you raise your hand, I can allow you to speak and ask like Linda did.
Don't be shy. One thing that would be helpful, I think, too, is let us know what kind of trainings you need that we haven't given, or that you haven't found on the website or in the volunteer toolkits that we could help provide for you, because of course we're glad to do that. Kara says Troop 4197 does not have a service unit manager, but she's a troop cookie manager. Is the packet coming to our troop?
Yes, the packets are going to all of your individual girls, Kara. Does that answer your question?
And as Rini said at the office today, we mailed several hundred today. We're rolling mailing as we're stuffing them and getting them out. So Kara says, I guess I signed up our troop from online forms.
Kara, you can follow the trainings on the website that we pointed out, and all that you need to do to get your troop signed up is get set up an eBuddy. And there's a document on the website that walks you through those steps, but I can, I'm writing your name down right now, and I can follow up with an email and make sure that you have what you need to get into that. No problem.
Sort of funny to talk back and forth to emails.
I also want to point out that if you think of any questions after the fact, you can definitely reach out to us. A good email to use is that customercare@girlscoutsalaska.org. Somebody put it in the chat earlier, maybe Leslie, can you type it in there again just so it's easy to access? We are definitely monitoring everything that comes in that way, and we will get an answer to you as quick as we can find the answer. All right, well, I'm not seeing any other questions come in or, oh, I see a hand, never mind. Go ahead, Linda.
Thanks. Maybe a little off topic, but I'm just curious, have you seen a lot of volunteers kind of bail on Girl Scouts because of the inability to meet in person?
Yes, I wouldn't say bail specifically, but I would say put on hold more than probably.
Okay.
We had a really high renewal rate with girls, actually up in the 90%.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know that, you know, I don't know about you, but this is like my third Zoom of the day, and
Mm-hmm.
kids are Zooming, parents are Zooming, and it's a lot until, you know, in the summer, it wasn't quite so restrictive. As we all know, we were able to go outside more and
Yep.
do things together. So I think it might've been you, Linda, that said you expect them to kind of pop back up in the spring. And I think we will too. I think just in general, we will as well. And we're definitely working on recruiting more adults to be leaders and helpers and that kind of thing. But I think it's just an overall, just things are tough right now. And I'm sure you know, because we've said it a million times, but I feel like we should always say it again. We do know it's tough, and we really want to thank everybody for hanging in there, because there's hope around the corner. I mean, we have a vaccine that started today, all sorts of things. This time next year will be, hopefully this will be a distant memory, but or not even just next year, but like maybe in 5 or 6 months, it'll be a much more distant memory. But also, that's why we also gave the free membership to girls, just because we know families are having a hard time this year, just overall. And we just didn't want to be one more stressor on them. But we also wanted to offer things for girls to, you know, get together and talk and hang out. Like Christiana said, some of them just want to hang out. I've attended a couple troop meetings online, and really the girls are just like, they just want to say hi and talk to each other a little bit. But it's tough for everyone.
Okay, yeah, I figured it wasn't that unusual what I'm seeing here in Petersburg, but it is a little discouraging. And I've been telling parents in particular who've reached out to me that we're just going to have to rebuild the organization when we get back to some type of normal, and I'm going to need their help.
Yeah.
And hopefully some of those volunteers that have just gotten kind of burned out, maybe some of them will come back.
Yeah, I think we're all burned out for lots of different reasons. I mean, I'm actually doing less, you know, I come home every night after work, but I still feel burned out. I'm doing less. By less, I mean, I'm not, you know, going to friends' houses and all the other social things I usually do. But it's been a heavy burden this year. And I think people will bounce back. I do think that, actually.
Yeah, well, I appreciate everything that you guys do to try to, offer some type of program.
Mhm,
I know that I've had some parents and girls here in Petersburg take advantage of some of those.
mhm. I think the circuit class is sold out. I think it went really fast that people were super excited about it. And we've been
Mhm.
getting some funding too for mailing out badge kits and things like that, which I think, trying to meet people in their homes until we can really all start meeting. And some of the smaller communities like yours, I'm hoping that as they keep talking about bending the curve on this pandemic, that some of the smaller areas might actually be released sooner than the bigger cities because you were in the summer, you didn't have as many cases. I'm hoping it kind of goes back.
Yeah, that's a good point because Petersburg is just now setting up its own risk risk rating dashboard,
Mhm.
and I did need to talk to you about that to see if we would be able to use that reduced risk rating to plan activities. I don't know that it's official yet. I think it's still under review.
Okay.
Um, but with 0 active cases in town, we'd probably be starting out in the low risk category.
Okay. Yeah. When you talk to Rainey and Christiana, we'll talk about that too. And because I think there's going to be other communities. Some small communities are really getting hit really super hard. So just because you're
Right.
small doesn't mean it. But I didn't know that Petersburg didn't have any active cases. That's great. So everybody's going to be a little different. So yeah.
Okay. Thank
Right.
you.
I know out in Western Alaska, some of the smaller communities are just getting slammed.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Linda. I did want to point out a really good question in the chat. Charlene asked if it's okay if a troop decides to participate in cookie sales, but not all Girl Scouts sells cookies. Yes, definitely. Any of the girls who want to participate in the troop, even if it's not all of them, whoever does want to participate definitely can. And you would go ahead and still register them in eBuddy like you normally would.
hey, Linda, I don't know if you're, oh yeah, you're, looks like you're still on. I think we had a family move down there. They were told me last year they were moving. I don't know if it's happened, but she was the top cookie seller in Eagle River or in the council last year. Looking at Amanda, I'm looking right at the girls and or I think the father is the new trooper down there. Anyway, you might have a pretty hot cookie seller.
Thanks for the tip. I
Uh,
don't think they've reached out to me, but the other trooper's daughter is in my troop, so I can
yeah,
find out.
yeah, I'll check. Amanda, are you still on? I did a bunch of stuff there last year. I'm looking right at her. I'm spacing. I'll send it to you, Linda, and I'll check and see if they actually moved. But they were going to move to Petersburg as of last spring, but who knows if that happened.
Yeah, actually, that sounds familiar, but I don't think they've reached out to me yet.
Yeah, Alana. I'll find it. I did 2 or 3 things with her last year. I kept blanking on it, but I'll get in touch with you about her.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Go get her.
Yeah. All right. I haven't seen any new questions come into the chat or any other hands raised. And I don't want to keep you all too long. I know you have very busy lives and other things to get onto this evening yet. So Rainey or Leslie, do you have any closing comments for everybody before we sign off?
Nope, again, just happy holidays and get in touch with us before the holidays or after. I'll still monitor my email if there's some Girl Scout emergency, but otherwise we'll be in touch too after January.
Yep.
Thank you.
And definitely use that customer care email. That's a good way to reach out.
Mhm. Yep.
So, all right. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll post this recording on our website and put it in GS Learn so you can review it and tell your fellow volunteers about it. And thank you for all that you do for your girls. We appreciate you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.